Okay, I guess I'm going to start it off with some comments about the ball game. Couldn't have been happier with the way the game finished for the senior class. They were very good with me all week. The 13 kids that were playing their final ball game. It was emotional for them on Friday night as we let them speak to the team, and I couldn't be more pleased that they came out today and the team gathered around one another and found a way to get a victory for Tennessee and for the senior class, and really pleased with what happened. The week went pretty smoothly. After the beginning of the week was a little rugged, without any question. Dealing with change is difficult, but as the week progressed throughout the week, by Friday I felt like we were close to being ready to go play a football game. The unknown of how they would react in an environment of an SEC ball game was what I was unsure about. But I felt like when we got the ball and went down and scored, I felt pretty comfortable, when the game started. But after that, I had no expectations personally of what was going to take place today, other than Dave asked me to do this, and I was humbled by it, and I was pleased to do it, and I like this group of kids, and I was tickled to death that we found a way to win a football game. So I'm happy with that. I'll open it up for any questions. Yes?
Jim, what does it say about these kids that they were able to put aside all these distractions and go out there and get a win? And secondly, for you, how difficult was it? You were charged with trying to fire them up and get them ready. How difficult was it for you to do that?
I think when kids go out and play, they wanted to play. As far as being difficult to do it, I don't feel that way. I felt as the week was going, the healing was happening naturally, and by the time I got to Saturday, like those kids wanted to go out and put their teammates out with victories. I don't know. Other than that, I felt comfortable with where we were at when we were going into the ball game.
Not knowing what's next, did you at least have fun on the sidelines today?
I have fun at most every ball game, particularly when we move the ball. Let me take that back. I had a lot of fun 7 days ago, but it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience for me personally to do this. I never have done this, as you guys know my history, and it was fun. There's things that pop up that you never think about when you're sitting there, and I admire the qualities of the people that do it. I admire Derek Dooley more than I can ever tell you, and he's a good man.
Jim, defensively, why were you guys able to have success? Got more pressure on them in the last couple of games?
They played hard. They seemed to play hard to me. They're moving around, making plays in the backfield. We missed a few sacks, but we made a few too. The kids up front played hard, and they were in position for the most part to make the plays they needed to make, and they did. And proud of them. They bent a little bit, but they didn't break, and they did a nice job. They played hard. I mean, with effort comes playmaking ability, and I thought they played hard today.
I know you didn't get the results on the scoreboard every week. Can you just talk about this offense from a big picture standpoint, the kind of weapons that you had, the production? I mean, season long, it's very prolific.
Yeah, this offense started 3 long years ago. We see the results. What you're seeing today is a byproduct of 3 long years of nurturing, shall we say, of learning. We had a lot of bumps and bruises along the way offensively. It was a short 12 months ago that we were in Lexington and we couldn't get a first down to save our lives. But these kids that are playing on the field right now are juniors and seniors as opposed to freshmen and sophomores that they had been previously. And I think this familiarity with what we do and their belief in what we do systematically helped us, and couldn't be more pleased with how they went out and played. As an offensive coordinator, you strive for the perfect game. That never happened for us. It never did. But we had times that we looked pretty doggone good out there. And there's times I'd love to take a few of my calls back. And as every game, in my position, you can take 4 or 5 of them back. You'd love to. But unfortunately, you don't get to do that. You don't have that click button to go backwards.
Jim, you've coached some quarterbacks that have played in the NFL and have seen what that takes. Do you think Tyler is NFL ready right now?
I think Tyler's a good quarterback that's got a very bright future in front of him.
Coach, what does it say about CP? You talked about familiarity in this offense being 3 years in the making, that he was able to come in and just on sheer talent, it looked like be that big.
Well, CP's a heck of a talent. I mean, I've joked many times that I think he's as good as I've seen at what he does with the football in his hands. And I've watched some good football players over my years. When you have that talent and he loves to play the game, his passion for the game of football is what y'all probably don't see. I mean, he loves football. The passion's there. The details of assignment, he'll continue to get better at route running. You have to find ways to get him the ball, but boy, when it comes up to him and he knows where he's going, he's pretty good. The sky's the limit for that young man's development, and how good he can be remains to be seen. And he understands that. He truly understands he has a lot of growth left to do, but he also has a very fine arrogance about him. He knows he's pretty damn good. I know he's pretty damn good.
Obviously, don't know what's going to happen in the future, but you've got the core of the offensive line that question marks around. There's some young talent for whichever direction the university goes.
You know, for me to evaluate these kids, I like them. I'm not going to sit here and give you physical evaluations of everybody. I feel like there's some good young players here. I do feel that way. I feel like we had good success with them, and they continue to work and continue to develop and continue to be a year older next year. They'll be just a little bit better, because when seniors are on the field playing for you, good things come your way. They've invested so much. Just imagine the things that we've done personally in our lives that we worked so hard for 4 years. Just think one thing that you've done for 4 years to get somewhere, and you invest so much that it's so important to you for success. That's where this group of kids is at.
You talk about the seniors, specifically the fifth-year guys playing their final game under the fourth different head coach of their time.
Fifth, you guys keep forgetting Kippy. Wasn't Kippy here a day or two? I don't want to leave out my friend Kippy.
I mean, what does it say about them? Or, can you imagine a group having to go through that much change?
It'll be interesting to see in 20 years exactly what these young men are doing. What did they learn in college? What happened in college? What transpired that made them tougher, made them learn to fight through adversity? They learned definitely about change. I mean, they got to see that up close and personal. The different personalities they had to deal with and coaching staffs was remarkable. Remarkable. I mean, just you guys, everybody goes through that in their job, having to deal with different personalities. I do believe they'll be stronger because of it. That doesn't necessarily mean that they can be successful when they were here, because it was tough. But down the road, I know that they'll still be diehard Tennessee people, and that's what we're trying to do.
Jimmy only gave up a field goal in the second half, so obviously your defensive adjustments that you made, right?
Of course. Is that what we did? Those guys played good. I thought Sal called a wonderful ball game. I mean, there was times that he could have blitzed, he couldn't have blitzed, he tied him up in the knot. I thought he did a real nice job today.
Coach, what are the next couple of weeks going to be like for you until a decision is made, including typically the head coach meets with the players and kind of talks about how that's evaluated? What will you do? What will that be like for you?
Well, I'll continue to do whatever Mr. Hart would like for me to do in this role, and continue to help these young men, whatever they need as far as going to class. That's the key thing right now. Football's over now. We got to finish up strong in finals. Coach Dooley was big on that, and we'll continue to fight his wishes all the way to the end. These young men will finish strong academically if it's the last thing we do, and we want that. So that's all our time is going to be spent on that, and we'll have a number of coaches out on the road being visible with our Tennessee Orange to the recruits.
Coach, I know the season obviously didn't go the way that you hoped for, but how would you sum up this season?
Tough. I don't know. I seldom get an opportunity to reflect. Right now is not a time for reflection for me. It's been a tough one. I can say that.
And then what does it mean for you to see the 13 seniors go out with a victory on home turf?
Everything. I mean, that was the goal in the beginning of the week. How do you refocus a team to get them to go out with in a victorious manner? And we talked about it throughout the week, and they decided to make it happen, and they did it. I told them yesterday that for years as a coordinator, I'd preached about this game's about players. It has nothing to do with the coaches. It's everything about players. When you walk across that big line, it's about players. And I told him I started laughing as I was coming in because I was going to be a head coach for the first time. And it's definitely about players because you had two staffs that were basically lame duck staffs. So, guys, it's just you versus those 11. You don't have to worry about some guy yelling at you on the sideline. There ain't none of that. There's no anxiety of that. It's just you guys playing. And today was the purest form of players versus players that you can find.
And you said that you learned some things, you saw some different things. Could you explain maybe what came up during the game you didn't expect? And is it now a job that you...
I don't know much about during the ball game that took place other than the officials asking me at halftime, which way do you want to kick the ball? Why don't you choose it? I don't know. No, I had spent that much time thinking about it. And I felt like a complete idiot because I always pride myself on knowing exactly what I'm going to do offensively. I have my checklist that I hold dear to my heart. Well, I didn't have that checklist today, and that came up, and there was you know, I don't know, if I had to do a replay or challenge something, that'd have been interesting, you know. I don't know. There's just little things that as you're getting ready to play a ball game that you really don't know until you live it. And that's what I've learned about this week is you don't know till you sit in that desk how difficult it is. And I never sat in the desk, and I'm not even pretending to say this was a year-long thing, but I did notice things.
You mentioned the seniors speaking on Friday night, you said?
Yeah, that's a long-standing tradition. The seniors speak in the last meeting.
What was it?
I'd rather not. You know, sometimes some kids are, some kids aren't. I'd rather not even get into that. It's kind of a personal thing with the players.
Again, was that Bart's idea to get some carries there at the end?
I think it's more Bray's idea, but you know, it's like an alter ego. You know, Bray. Hey, Bart probably said, "Hey, Bray, go tell Chaney to do that." You know, I don't know. I couldn't have been more happy. I've thought about doing it throughout the season and never did it, so I was happy for Bart to get the ball.
You stayed in through one after you stayed here. Would you be interested in doing that a second time if it worked out?
Well, if it worked out, it's, you know, the gentleman that they hired, that's his job to make those decisions. I can say personally, my family and I, we really enjoy Knoxville. We love the University of Tennessee, and if that opportunity comes up, we would love to discuss that. But that's whoever they end up hiring's decision.
Jim, you've been here, you obviously understand Tennessee in 3 years here. What do you think the first steps needed to repair to fix Tennessee?
You know, I don't know. You're asking me again to reflect on things, and right now I'm not. This is not the time and the place for me to do that. I think that Tennessee's a wonderful spot. There's a lot of things that every place has that you can work to get better at, but you know, those are conversations that we can have at a later date. Right now, I'm just concentrating. I'm happy as heck we won a ball game, and that's where my brain's at right now.
Anything else? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.